Captain, my captain. On today's episode of the Red Cup Review, we're taking a look at the Tweeterhead 1/6 scale Shazam statue number 17 in their Superpowers line. The exclusive version of, they're calling him Shazam, I'm calling him Captain Marvel. That's what his name was growing up, and I'm sticking to it. So in this video, we're going to be doing a whip around to show you guys close-ups of the statue. Then we're going to be showing you the swap outs of the exclusive parts. We're going to be talking about the paint, the sculpt. Then we're going to throw all the Superpowers statues that are over my shoulder right here out on the table and show you guys how they all look good together and how they're just, this is the best line of statues. I'm just a big Superpowers guy. You know what I'm saying? My favorite. He's got incredible shelf presence during the unboxing. I had one of those jaw-dropping moments. I just knew it was going to be that good. This is the 1A to the Green Lantern being number one. That Green Lantern statue is just something else, man. Let me tell you. Reviewed that in, I think, a review or two ago. You guys can go check out the archives. This statue is the 1A to that. If it wasn't for a few factory paint defects here and they're ever so slight, this would be the 1-in-1 right there with the Green Lantern. I love it. Hopefully you'll love it too. It's just so freaking good. It's so damn good. All right, anyways, let's take a closer look at the statue and get on with the review. It's time to break this statue down into its minute components and tell you what I think of it, which is pretty much going to be shooting stars all across the board, with the exception of a very few minute details they could have maybe possibly done better. There really isn't much. This is the Superpowers version of Shazam, but really it's kind of more like the Alex Ross Kingdom Come mixed with Superpowers style of Captain Marvel. He has the gold. That's one differentiating factor. Alex Ross used the gold style, which I actually like more for Captain Marvel as opposed to the yellow. The old Superpowers statue had yellow for the lightning bolt and the sash and his gauntlets and stuff, and the cape. I like the gold, so I'm happy with that. That's perfectly fine. I love how the sculptor, the person who sculpted this, actually sculpted him differently in the chest, the lats, up in the arms. He's much more blocky and much more classical Greek godlike. That's kind of where he gets his name from, so that's a smart move there. But a lot of people compare Shazam to Superman a lot, saying that he's just a knockoff. He's the same character. I love the way they differentiated between the two, because Superman's musculature is a lot more angular, a lot more supreme superhuman body level style, and his is more cartoony, over the top-ish, a little bit kind of strongmanish built, not so super defined, more like an old school strongman was from way back when Shazam was actually created. And I think that was excellent concept choice. Totally on board with that. Love it. As far as the paint goes, there's absolutely no bleed in the paint around the hair into his face sculpt. The eyes are perfect. They are brown. The eyebrows are done perfectly and excellently. Both head sculpts share a very, very, very similar paint style. Here is the exclusive head. So just to give you guys an idea, take a look at the eyebrows. You can actually see the paint on the eyebrows themselves actually are a little thicker, and you can kind of see little wisps of paint and freckles coming up above the eyebrow line which is great because it's like he has actual eyebrows, so it's not just black or brown lines drawn on his face. If I had to be super nitpicky about both of these head sculpts, paint-wise, they're pretty much identical. If I had to be super picky, though, I would say that as far as sculpt goes, the hair sculpt should have been a little bit more defined. It's a little flat in the actual sculpt itself. The hair should have been a little bit more defined. We should have seen a little bit more of the striations of the hair. I thought that would have been pretty nice. Then again, this is kind of like pretty much how I remember Shazam. Always seeing him and stuff, you know? So that's fine. But again, to be super nitpicky, under the jaw here, you can see there's almost like a 5 o'clock shadow going on right under where my thumb is here. And that is not paint rub coming off of the statue, because both head sculpts, let's pop this one off for a second, actually have the same kind of dark spot going on under the chin. So it's almost like he has a 5 o'clock shadow. Now, you're not, over here you're going to see it. It's like, what the hell did they do here, right? But head on, you're not going to see it too much. It looks more like a shadow. It is a little bit more noticeable on this head sculpt, though, and it's uniform. It goes right up the side of his chin there and right up the side over here. So it's almost like a 5 o'clock shadow. I'm not crazy about that. I wish they would have used more of a super clean look for him, because he is a Greek god when he gets his powers, practically. So he should be just totally super cleaned up and everything else. It's a little bit darker on the smiling head sculpt. But when you put it on the statue, it pretty much looks more like just a natural shadow being cast, as if the light was hitting him from this angle and the shadow was being cast under his chin. So that's not really that big of a deal for me, but it might be for you. Moving on, we talked about the chest. There could have been a little bit more definition in the line that buttons his outfit up over here. But again, these are the superpower style, so it's not supposed to be super detailed. So that's a little bit of a nitpick, but not really. I love the shadowing and the paint between the darker reds and the brighter reds. It looks wonderful. It captures all the musculature pretty spot on and spectacularly. Moving on to the base. My superpower statue over here had a little bit of a paint defect right there in the tip of his boot. That doesn't bother me that much. Again, that was like one of those factory issues. It's going to happen from time to time on these statues. Nothing is perfect. And he's standing on what I would assume is the Rock of Eternia, which is a great idea. That's what I pretty much, Batman's always on a gargoyle. Superman's always on the Fortress of Solitude. They put Shazam on the Rock of Eternia, and that is a great concept. Up in the clouds, as if he's standing on the top of the Rock of Eternia, which is cool. And the clouds and mist are kind of peeking out over the top of the rock's spire, that is. And some people are going to think that the clouds look like shaving cream, but clouds look like shaving cream, right? Like when you look up in the sky, if they're like these type of clouds, very billowy, very thick clouds, it's going to look like that. The way the shadows are captured on it are very well done. It's not like a totally flat white. It's got a little bit of off-white shading in there between pure white and that off-white color, and it captures the shadows of the clouds pretty well as far as I'm concerned, so that's not a bother to me, although it might also be for some. Taking a look at the lightning bolts, they are cool and translucent, and they're, the yellow and different shades of it because it's a translucent type of casting. So that's fine, and they all key in different spots. One of them stays keyed in totally. This one back here is actually in the statue itself and cannot be removed. Other ones can be removed, and you can have your Shazam or Captain Marvel statue kind of like customized if you want all the lightning bolts showing, or if you just want a couple showing, that's fine too. They have their own little keyhole spots. There's one that keyholes back here and here, up over here. Wait, I'm saying here and here. I'm not even showing you guys here and here, up over here. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the one that stays in. These are the ones that plug in. My bad. This one is always in the base. And this one back here plugs in. And this is the one that's been giving me a little bit of a problem, which is why I'm taking a couple of points off. Again, it's really not that big a deal, but watch this. See how it like kind of just pops out? And then you got to put it back in, and then watch. It pops out again. So in order to get this one to stay in, I got to like kind of slide this first piece in here and then slide the back one in. And it stays. As long as you're not like banging the statue around, which you shouldn't be anyway, it's pretty much fine. And there's different ways you can display it. So let's back the camera up and show you guys. Hopefully, if I don't completely like give you guys too much wobbly cam here. All right, and we're going to put it down. And here's how you can kind of customize it. You don't want this big thing because it's bothering you. Just pop it out. It's not as, it's because it's made of translucentness. It's kind of, it's not even that wobbly, but you could feel it. It's plastic. And then you could have just the lightning bolts up on one side. You know, if there's not enough room in your DTOF or wherever you're going to put this up in your module case or something, you could have maybe just the lightning bolts on the one side, and it looks just as good like that. As a matter of fact, I don't even know. I'm probably going to have them with bolt lightning bolts, but I haven't really quite decided just yet. Getting on to the face, as I had discussed earlier, I'm keeping the smiley face on my portrait because to me, Shazam is always smiling and he's always happy to help somebody, although I've seen people say that the stern and more stoic face is their more favorite of the two. Your mileage may vary. And that's it. This is an excellent statue. I love it. And hopefully you guys will love it too. There's a link down below to order yours from SpecFiction. There's only 1 or 2 left over there. There's a bunch of links down below if you want to help support the channel and everything else. Now let's take a look at all the superpower statues lined up and see how cool they look together. Hey Rob Banks, so what do you think of this?
Perfect.
That's right, it's absolute perfection. You can see I'm a superpower super fan, and this brings me right back to when the superpowers released all those years ago. The primary colors pop amazingly. I am so happy that I'm able to have these in the collection. Tweeterhead chat, if you're listening, I'm all in on these things, at least for the heroes. Originally, I was just going to do 6. We were going to have Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Superman, and I know a Flash is on its way, hopefully an Aquaman, and that would have been it for me. And then I just couldn't resist getting myself the Shazam. So now we're hoping for a Green Arrow to round out the team at maybe 8. And until you guys release like a Lex Luthor in Power Suit or a Zatanna or a Black Canary, and then forget it, bro. The well is hopefully pretty deep with these things. I know Tweeterhead's doing a lot of great stuff coming soon. They're expanding into their Masters of the Universe licenses and everything else. This is where it's at. I'm selling all my premium formats, with the exception of maybe Wonder Woman, and I've already started the ball rolling on that to make room for these things. Over the moon, absolutely love them. Can't speak highly enough about them, from the bases to the colors to the sculpts. The 2 standouts in the collection of these 2 right here. And go get yours, man. There are links down below to get yours. Otherwise, maybe don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. We got the live show back on for you guys, the weekly live show. Look, this stuff is just beautiful looking. I don't give a shit about Prime 1 or any of those other super awesome looking, great looking statues. For me, it's the classics. For me, it's 1/6. For me, it's superpowers. And hopefully it is for you too. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on a future episode, everybody. Take care, man. Take care.